All right, here we go. We're going to start attaching some things. And there's a way to approach it. You have to have a kind of a plan. One good way to do it is to work from the bottom up. Okay, so you don't always bump into things as you go. Another way to do it at the same time is to work from the back forward. So that means I would attach this before I would attach this, because this is underneath. So you have to kind of figure out things like that. Now I have here a little pad, so I can keep this laying down. I'll lift it up and show you, and I'll show you the shapes that I'm making. If you had a good little pile of nice soft towels or kind of a pillowy area, that would be okay to use as well, so you can kind of have your hands free while you have this tilted down. Because a lot of times it's more difficult to work on it when it's like this. And you don't want to tip it that way because you'll round off the bottom. Okay, so that's important. Now I said work from the bottom up, but my very bottom thing are my feet. Okay, I'm not going to do that first because I don't want the feet to bend. I'm going to do that later. I'm going to occasionally make sure those two areas stay kind of moist so I can attach them later, because they might bend and break if I'm not really super careful. And I work kind of fast during these videos. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work from the bottom up, and I'm going to work from the back forward. So I have to make, I think, that top and bottom lip first. Okay, then I'm going to, actually the top lip, scratch that, I have to make the teeth first, because the teeth go behind the lips. Okay, so I got myself kind of mixed up. So with teeth, unless you're just going to carve them out, teeth are basically a slab. Okay, and we will do a combination of adductive and deductive sculpting. So I'm going to just have a little piece of clay. I'm going to just pound it a little bit so it's kind of flat, and start to put it there to see if I like the size of it. Okay. I think that's going to be okay. You know what? I just changed my mind. I have to make the bottom lip first. So let's do that, because the bottom lip, I forgot, goes behind those two buck teeth sticking out. So the lip is going to be a coil. I'm rolling out a coil. You guys have made tons of coils, and it's going to go right there. Okay? But we have to do some scoring and attaching. So let's get my score tool. And again, I'm going to do my scoring and attaching, but I'm not going to do every single last little tiny bit of blending maybe, just to help this video not take too long. Okay, you have your water. There's your scoring. Something really small like this. Remember, we can often just dunk it into water instead of trying to score little tiny score marks on here. I'm going to put it into water. And if we want that lip to look like there's a smile, we obviously have to make it that direction. I have my preliminary drawing that was there, and I'm going to just give it a little press. The top of the lip I want to leave alone. The bottom of the lip, I'm going to let it blend in. This is the exact same kind of thing you might do if you were making a turtle shell on something else. So I kind of blend it in, just kind of keep it round. I can get in there with a paintbrush and just kind of wipe away that inside. And look at that nice little bottom lip. Okay, it kind of blends in, and it blends up toward the top lip. Now I can attach those teeth and make them stick out. So I'm just going to make there it is. I'm just going to make the two front teeth. And I'm just cutting, kind of sizing and cutting. I'm not going to worry about any of the detail yet. So I'm just going to make them kind of stick over in front. Okay, so we can do a little scoring. Going to score a little bit on the lip itself. On the lip. Sorry if my hand blocks the camera once in a while, but I'll try to show you. Okay, back here I'm going to score because there's a nice big surface to do so. And I'm going to get some water and some water. Now I'll carve these teeth more accurately later. Now I'm going to blend this in because my top lip is going to go over that. I might just wind up trying to carve out the next teeth on each side. Again, I can't get every tiny little thing perfect right now because the clay is so soft. Okay, so there's those blocked in, those two teeth that are going to stick over the top. Now I can make a top lip. And that's going to be very much the same as the bottom lip and how it's made. I'm going to roll out a coil. Let's get it in my hand first. Again, don't forget, keep your hands from getting all dried out. This is going to be kind of a skinny coil because top lips usually aren't as thick as bottom lips. So, and that top lip has kind of a goofy little curve to it. So, I need to score where it's going to attach, and we're going to blend this going up. And out here at the very edge, at the very corner of the mouth, I might have to do some just relief sculpting into the clay. And that's totally fine too. Go, 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 go. I'm going to dip this coil into water real fast. I am going to apply some water to my scoring, same old thing. And try to get that little goofy smile thing going here. A little bit of an uneven curve right there. I had a little split in my clay right here, but I think with my pressure and my blending, that will go away. So that looks like a mustache right now, but we're going to do the same kind of thing. We're going to hold the bottom of it while I blend the top. And again, you're going to see your finger marks and everything at first. That's no big deal. We will be able to smooth things out and soften them off. Let's get that curl at the end. So we're starting to get that goofy smile. Turn this thing around when you need to kind of get a good angle at it. You can totally take one of your tools and do some of the blending as well. Again, I might have to take off a little bit right there. All these things, remember, we're just blocking it in at this point. We want to get all these parts attached first. First thing you want to do is get all of your major parts attached, and then we'll go in and do some carving and details. All right, that's the beginning of the mouth. We can also, just to give you an idea, I'm going to do some shortcuts here and just show you how I think about adding stuff, but I'm not going to score and attach. I'm going to take all these things off and score and attach them, I promise. So to make that little cheek, that little smile line, you can just attach a little piece right here, curve it, and then blend it back. See how that's going to start to make that little cheek happen. Okay, I can take that off because I'm not going to keep it. Same thing with the eyes. I'm going to make two spheres, but they're not going to be a complete ball. They're going to be kind of an ovally round shape. There's my ball. See how big it is? I'm going to flatten it. I'm getting a flat backside and kind of a domed front side. So when I attach that eye, it will stick out. Look to the side here. Okay, it will stick out like that. The top part, I'm going to blend it in because I'm going to attach a small coil. And again, this has not been attached, so I'm going to peel this right off. I'm going to attach a small coil for an eyelid. Now check this out. This eyelid's going to go right here. After I score and attach it, I'm going to blend it, and all this will be blended in, so you kind of get a sense of that eyelid. Okay, same kind of thing with the eyebrow. I'll attach that. I may not blend that in, and I'll do that with the other eye as well. Now, I'm going to take this off, because the nose, if you want kind of a cartoony human nose, I would think of a teardrop first. And it can be bigger than mine or smaller. It's, that kind of depends on your character. So a lot of things start with a circle. And make that a little bit bigger. And I would put the nose on before I make the eyes, actually attach them, because the eyes are going to nestle up right up next to the nose. Rather than making the nose fit in between the eyes, I'm going to make the nose first, and so the eyes can bump into it. Much easier as far as that order. All right, so there was kind of a ball, kind of an oval. I'm going to make a teardrop shape. That's going to be the center of the nose. I'm going to flatten the backside. So I can just kind of, I will score and attach that, and I will blend it on top. Okay, the two nostrils can just be two other smaller teardrops. Let's see, how big do I want to make those? Yeah. Okay, a ball. I'm just going to pinch my fingers. Watch this little move. I'm just going to pinch my fingers and kind of turn it so it turns into like a little teardrop right there. Okay, same thing here. Then the nostrils go down. That one's a little bit too big, so I can take some off of there. See, there's where the nostrils are going to go. I'm going to blend those together. Okay, so they look like they're all part of one piece. Later on, I'll be able to kind of carve out some nostrils. Okay, but that's the outside of the nostrils. Then my eyes are going to just nestle up right next to that. You can see that face starting to take shape. Okay, and I'm going to do all the scoring, all the blending, and I'll come back and maybe show you how to do some hair like I'm going to do it, give you an idea for that. Then I'll have to add the ears, and I'll have to add everything. Then I'll have to let it firm up overnight in order to do some carving. So I'll come back to you after I've attached everything and blended it in. But that's how you get it going. Have fun. Okay, here it is, all blocked in. No real details, hard details yet, or little details, but I want to show you how I made a couple things. And remember, your sculpture should look something like your drawing. Okay, there's going to be little differences, but that's we're trying to go for something similar. All right, a couple of things that I did. The feet, you really want to make sure, and everything is scored and attached and kind of blended in, so just know that the back side of this and the underside really got filled in. There's a lot of students who will leave kind of a little opening right here on the side. So it needs to be a really good attachment, and it needs to be nice and flat and level with the ground. And make sure now that you don't rock and roll this, because you're going to tip those toes and they'll wind up breaking off. Okay, now another thing attached are the ears. You can see how they have that kind of a cup feeling. All you have to do, make a ball, flatten it, and what I do for ears, I make sure that there's one side that's flat, so it's a connection, a good connection. So I kind of flatten that side right there. Then I take my thumb or my finger, and I just push the clay around my thumb, and then you can kind of make it whatever shape you want, and that gives it that nice little cup feel. Okay, so it's that kind of an ear, and really make sure to have a good area right here for scoring and attaching. All right, that's all that was. The hand, at first, I have like a little sleeve. That was just a disc of clay, just a round disc of clay that has a nice little scoring and attaching. To make the actual hand, I first think of a mitten. So I kind of make a ball first, and then I'm going to start to flatten where the fingers and thumb is, or are. Okay, then I took my paper clip, something small, and I kind of just made a split where the thumb is, and you just kind of start to pull that thumb out and start to round it off. And the same thing, and I only give my guys 3 fingers. No matter what, I just do 3 fingers. And again, I'm going to split the clay and split the clay. Then I can start to pinch to make them a little bit more like fingers. And I try to get these to separate a little bit, kind of open them up so I can get my fingers in there and round them off a touch. And kind of just have to work that for a few minutes. And I would, instead of making the hand just flat like that, I almost always bend it a little bit, like if the hand was bent, like that, right? And I usually try to make not all 4 fingers do the exact same thing. Kind of let the pinky lift up, or let this one lift up a little bit. So there's a little bit of a difference in those fingers. So that's why when I turn this, you can kind of see there's a bend, and they're not all doing the exact same thing. All right, so and then you want to flatten this backside. So again, there's a good scoring area right there to make sure to score and attach it. And then do a little bit of blending. The hair up here is pretty rough right now, but really it was exactly like adding the lips at first. I made a coil. I really scored that area, got it wet. I dipped the coil in water and I attached it, and I started to blend it up. And then I went in with my fingertips and a pencil and whatever tools you want to, if you want to kind of make it look like it's jagged. And right now it's kind of rough looking, but I'm going to get in there and carve some more out and make some of them look a little bit more pointed, maybe like the tips of hair. And I did that in 2 layers. I did one here and blended it up. Then I scored it again. I put another coil right there, blended it up, and did the same thing. I think that's all I did outside of the video. I did attach these little cheeky things, little smile cheeks. Now, these hands and ears are very fragile. That's why you want to have a good amount of area to attach. Don't let it be real skinny. Don't let it be a tiny little area to score and attach. Make sure there's a good area to score and attach. And just so you know, we're going to use the back for our signature. That's where you're going to sign everything. So we can leave that for now. And I need to let this stay under plastic overnight. If I'm going to work on it tomorrow, I may not work on it for a few days. So I am going to double bag it. And I will sprinkle some water inside my bag as well. Then we'll get into carving some of the details and things. The idea now, again, as you know, is to get this clay to a leather hard stage so it's kind of like cheddar cheese. So when you carve away, some of that clay just kind of falls off rather than getting sticky back to itself. All right, so get everything attached first. Before you start to do any detail carving, get everything attached. All this clay needs to really become one piece of clay in a sense. Okay, so there's a firmness but also a moisture in there as well. All right, there you go.